Welcome everyone to Haven of Horror. As always, I am Subject. We've got Noah, Torgo, and this other guy.
Yeah.
Robert has not yet recovered from the Salem's Lot outrage,
I have not.
so forgive him.
He was outraged.
He was. You can go watch that commentary. So as the title may suggest, tonight we are doing Noah's pick. Noah, why did you pick the Rocky Horror Picture Show for your commentary?
Because it's a really fun movie, and the decade I picked was 70s, and I was kind of just thinking about movies for my commentary pick that would make for a good watch party in a group, and was kind of a no-brainer, as it is one of the most famous examples of a cult movie that you watch in groups and stuff like that. So,
funnily enough, my first exposure to this movie is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. There's a running thing in that movie where a couple of the characters are in a play version.
okay.
I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but
I haven't, but I didn't know that they referenced
you
that.
You gotta watch that movie, dude. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Robert, do you speak?
Sometimes.
You will. So when did you first see this movie, Robert?
Just a few years ago, I finally got around to it and really enjoyed it. My mom loved this movie back in the day. She saw it way back in the 70s. I don't know how. I think she saw it theatrically. I think at least once. And it's probably seen on TV and stuff since. But then I just bought the Blu-ray and watched it and had a good time. It's a capital C cult classic movie.
Oh yeah.
And we're really excited for this one because this is going to be our sing-along commentary. Noah's going to sing every song as we're watching it.
Yeah, did you get the memo on this, John? We're going to sing along.
It was my idea.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're the one who sent me the memo. Okay,
yeah.
I forgot about that.
And the memo was just that gif of Arnold from Batman and Robin. Sing!
Yeah, no, but I got it. I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that's interesting about this movie is for a lot of people, of an older generation, this is the big thing Tim Curry's known for. This is the introduction to Tim Curry for a lot of people. But I think for a lot of us, for a lot of our generation, we grew up with him on a ton of other stuff. Whether it's Home Alone 2 or tons of voice work. So that's what's kind of weird is seeing oh, this is the big thing he's known for, and it's one of the most recent Tim Curry things I finally watched.
The Russian general guy from Command and Conquer. That's what you know from. Space.
So mine is threefold because Robert reminded me. I watched Home Alone 2 a lot as a kid, and I didn't even know who Tim Curry was. But when I learned that, I was like, oh, it's that guy. And then one of the Power Ranger spin-off Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. He is the main bad guy in that.
Oh, nice.
No, yeah, that's great casting. And then he is in The Witch's Ghost. Scooby-Doo.
Pretty cool.
Have you guys not seen that?
No,
I've heard of it.
Yeah, he's done tons of voice work.
Yeah. And then the last thing I remember seeing him in is he's in a two-parter of Criminal Minds. That's one of the best episodes just because it's Tim Curry as the killer.
That's great. Unfortunately, I don't know if you know this. I guess it was 8 or 9 years ago. I think he had a stroke.
I found out that he was wheelchair bound a couple years ago because I was like, I don't think I've heard anything from Tim Curry in years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most stuff he's been in recently is just some voice work. He was briefly Emperor Palpatine in the Clone Wars. Which is really fun. It's pretty fun because it's so obviously Tim Curry, but not in a bad way. It's just wow, that's really fun. And he got to voice the Emperor for a little bit. That's probably the most recent thing I've seen him in. And before that, he was in an episode of Psych. That's one of my favorites. He's very funny.
Oh yeah, he is in Psych.
I think there was a recent live TV version of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I think he might have had a cameo in that, and that was the most recent thing I've seen from him.
Okay, cool. I knew that there was
a cameo in that movie. Robert, I think you and I were talking about it that movie Stream with like all those B actors. Apparently, he's gonna
Oh,
have a
okay.
cameo in that.
Cool. Very
Another
cool.
reason for me to watch that. Oh, and then nobody can forget his amazing role in Scary Movie 2.
No.
Noah's favorite of the five.
I don't hate that movie as much as Austin does.
Anyway, oh, and we would be miscontent if we didn't mention there's also a generation that knows him as Pennywise.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's a big thing I
Of
should have
course.
mentioned.
He's not my preferred take. I much prefer Skarsgård. But there's no denying that he's the best part of that miniseries, which is
Oh, for sure.
90% boring as fuck. Anyway,
Well, that is one of his big iconic roles, but I feel like if you know that it's Tim Curry going in, depending on the age you are, that does kind of take away from the horror. Because Pennywise traumatized many kids, but if I knew it was Tim Curry going in, I'd probably be like, "Hey, it's Tim Curry. That's fun."
Yeah.
I also don't think that miniseries has aged well.
No, again, it depends on when you grew up, how old you were when you saw
Yeah.
it, all those factors.
Now I do remember seeing the DVD at like Walmart, and those like $5
Mhm.
bins, and the cover terrifying me.
Me too. Yeah.
The cover is the scariest part of that miniseries. Anyway, Robert Noah's like, I want to watch this movie.
We gotta
Okay,
get to
so
the science fiction double feature.
we do. I didn't realize there were multiple versions of this movie, so we were watching this, at least on the Blu-ray. It says without the black and white opening.
Yes,
I
so
believe
the
this is
US
what
version without the black and white opening.
this should start with the 20th Century Fox logo if you're watching this with
Yes.
us.
Yes. Last thing to mention. Sorry, Noah. Just one more thing. Stick with us after the stream. After a probably short break, because Robert always needs a break. We will be doing some Until Dawn remake. Since we did not do a game last night, we purposely did that because the game came out today. Sony, you bastards. Our game days are on Thursdays. All right. Is everybody at timestamp 0? And yes, Robert, I have the timer up.
Good. Cute.
In 3,
Yep.
2, 1, play. Oh, but I gotta move it again. Remember 20th Century Fox?
You mean 20th Century Studios?
Studios now, yeah.
Richard
So-
Yu, a timeless classic, skillfully crafted, stylized film. I'm excited to watch it again. Welcome in. You're gonna get kind of my blind reaction because I feel like even having seen it once, a second time can almost feel like a first viewing.
If
So
you hear
this
any
is
audio from my side, by the way, just let me know.
Yeah, I don't hear
Okay.
anything. You're good.
Yeah,
I love this opening song. It's probably my favorite song in the movie.
it's really good. At the end of the movie, I'm going to ask you guys what your favorite song is.
Oh god.
So you better pay attention.
The problem is balancing like me hearing it versus my mic not hearing it. Just in
So
time for Halloween. This is part of our Halloween celebration. Yep.
So I believe Richard O'Brien, who's one of who wrote this, who plays Riff Raff in the movie and wrote the musical before this, he's singing this song.
Yes.
But the actress who plays Magenta, Patricia Quinn, I think it's her lips you're looking at. I think she's performing it, but we're hearing him sing it. It's such a weird
Susan
way to
Sarandon's
open this.
in this.
Yeah, she's one of the
yeah.
leads.
She's Janet.
I don't know how much stuff she was in before this, but I think of her as like the movie actress that's in this because a lot of the other people are from
She's
the
probably the most
musical.
famous person.
Yeah, besides like Meatloaf, obviously.
Yeah, besides Meatloaf. And I
Um,
mean, Tim Curry, but he's more known as in like cult
Mhm.
circles, I guess, or more niche.
And then I was telling Robert about this, but Anthony Head, who plays Giles on Buffy, actually
Mhm.
played in a like a on stage version of this for a while. You can see
Oh, okay.
footage, and it's funny because it's him, and then the lead woman is played by Tara from Buffy.
Oh, that's funny. Which character did he play?
Giles.
No, I mean in Rocky Horror.
Oh, Tim Curry's character.
Oh, okay. I can kind
I
of see that.
I was like, wait, I said that. Richard says Tim Curry. Let's do the time warp again.
We're not at that song yet. But yeah, that's like the most famous thing from this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a song I had heard many times before actually watching this.
Richard. Yeah, we don't really talk about that kind of stuff here. Sorry, man.
Dad and Janet.
All right, yeah, I forgot this was the sing-along commentary.
Well,
Everybody,
Why aren't you singing?
I think of this song as like We Didn't Start the Fire, but for 50s B movies. It's just taking you through the history
yeah,
of the greatest hits. It's both references and telling you what the plot of the movie you're about to watch is going to be.
But is it as good as the
But
Fall Out Boy
also-
version of We Didn't Start the Fire?
Oh god.
Nothing's as good as that.
Nah, I hate Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, that song didn't talk about Forbidden Planet and all that stuff.
IRKO.
Richard, Brian Bostwick, Meatloaf. I guess that's Meatloaf. Is that Meatloaf's real name?
Nope, those are two different people who are in the movie.
So I don't know if this is still a thing, but this one of the big things this movie's famous for is it being reshown and played in theaters, you know, like
Yeah.
overnight and being insane. Where- I don't know if you
Part
can
of me-
do this anymore.
Part of me, before we started, was thinking we should do the things, like yell out all the things that people do when they see
Yeah, and
when
I'm
they
not
go to see the movie, and I didn't look it up, so I'm unprepared for that.
the big thing I know about is oh look, there's Tim Curry.
Yeah, there's
There's all the people who are gonna torment them.
Curry looks miserable.
He's like,
he's more
I
in
only-
his element in the castle.
I don't feel comfortable.
Oh, what's that painting?
Yeah. No, the big thing I know
Yeah.
about is when Meatloaf shows up, people would bring actual Meatloaf to the theater and then throw it.
Oh yeah,
It sounds really messy because it's fun.
and then there's a
But
line
that's
about
such
a
a
hot
waste
dog.
of meatloaf. Like,
It's
I don't know.
shocking.
I'm gonna sound like the
You
old
can
man
eat
here,
it.
but like, why are you wasting food?
I love that that's your reaction. It's such a waste. And there's a line about a hot dog later, and then people threw hot dogs at the screen.
Yeah, you gotta
I-
wear.
I
like,
would
those-
never do this, but
those
I want to
creamy-
be at that viewing just to watch these people lug all this like meat into the theater.
No, it kind of sounds fun. Like, it feels like that's the way to watch the movie. Although you can still have
I
good
don't know.
viewing at home.
Maybe that's just like the grumpy old man in me, but like, I want to watch the movie, not throw food at the screen.
It's an
Waste of-
experience.
people talk during the movie. Where's the
It
boom
isn't saying to me
mic?
that Susan Sarandon looks the same in this movie as she kind of does now.
She hasn't aged badly.
No, but
No,
even
no,
then,
no.
just like you look at some people as they get older, and like it's almost hard to tell they're the same person when you look at a younger version. No, that is very clearly the same person.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
for sure.
she's one of the like celebrities they got to interview for that Christopher Reeve documentary. I don't know
Oh
how much
yeah.
they worked
Why?
together, or because they were friends, they knew each other. I don't
Oh,
know how
okay.
much they worked together, but she's also like Jeff Daniels. Like I didn't know him and Christopher Reeve were friends, but he's one of the guys they got to interview. It's really cool.
I'm like mildly interested in that documentary just because like Chris Reeve seemed like a cool guy. You would get me instantly more interested if this had happened like a decade ago and Robin Williams was still alive.
Yeah, but there's a lot of Williams stuff in it.
Okay,
That
that I
stuff's
would be
great.
interested in because I care way more about Robin Williams than I do that.
Yeah.
Well, and what Christopher Reeve, most of the documentary is about his paralysis and stuff
Mhm.
after that, which I think is the more important part of the story. Because there's some, like, and there's a lot of stuff about Superman too, but I saw some people say like, "Oh, I wish there was more making of Superman stuff," and it's like, yeah, we already have a lot of documentaries about that,
Yeah,
like
and I mean I
that,
don't want to sound like crass. It's just I don't care. Like
no,
Wow.
it's a really good documentary.
I didn't grow up with
I
him as
missed that in
Superman. Like
theaters.
to me, he's just
Mhm.
a guy that played a version of this character. Like he was a good actor, but like I'm not like, oh, I need to know everything about his life.
Wow. How rude, John.
Oh, sorry. I mean, fuck Christopher. I mean,
No, no, no. Anyway,
Back to this movie.
damn it, Janet.
The song is great. What I love about this song, it's like, so much of this story is a love letter to, cheesy 50s B movies and horror movies. And with this song, it's like we're satirizing cheesy dated 50s romance movies, where it's like this is the clean, sanitized mainstream stuff we're making fun of. Like, look at this stupid romance that's happening
Mhm.
in just
Yeah.
an afternoon. It's very over the top.
to answer your earlier question about like how much stuff she's been in, she's got about a handful of credits before this, but it doesn't say if like, oh no, because yeah, she's been in a few. She's been in like a leading lady in a few movies at this point.
Oh, okay. Because, like I said, I believe she's hired like just as Janet for this movie. I don't think she's in any of the stage productions before this, but a
Mhm.
lot of the cast is.
Probably wanted to bring that like rising name on
Mhm.
because contrary to what some people believe, movies exist to make money.
It's
This
all about
movie
balance.
did not make a whole lot of money when it first came out.
Yeah, I don't think so, but again, they just certain theaters would just keep showing it over. It's definitely a movie that built its reputation and its box
Well,
office.
yeah, it was a build up over time because in the
Mhm.
initial release it did start getting pulled from theaters, but then it was shown more at midnight showings, and then it gained a cult following and went from there.
Hey, look, it's
Uh,
everyone's favorite
I was
Blofeld.
gonna say, this movie's narrated by the worst Blofeld.
Oh no.
And James Bond's friend and You Only Live Twice.
Yeah, because I was gonna say Wikipedia is misleading because it shows this was made for $1 million and it's made almost 170. So I'm assuming that's because it kept
That's over
showing.
time. Yeah, that's cumulative.
Now this had the record, or was at one point the longest running theatrical release ever. Technically, I'm pretty sure because of its cult following.
It's more just insane to me that a studio released this.
Yeah, because even $1 million,
Well,
that's still not a big budget, but like that's a lot of money in the 70s.
from what I
Like,
understand, they took a chance on this because the initial play, the stage version that it's based on, was pretty successful.
mhm.
It's just no one cared enough to see the
Well,
movie, I guess.
I just mean like in the 70s, you would typically see this stuff distributed by like some underground distribution, and it wouldn't get a
Yeah,
theatrical run. It sure as hell wouldn't have a budget of $1 million.
it's funny that it got produced by Fox of all companies.
This is a Disney movie now, boys.
You can watch this on You could probably watch this on Disney Plus now, couldn't you?
If you have
If you had
Hulu.
Hulu as well, yeah.
You can watch Smallville on Disney Plus.
I am aware. I'll watch it.
No, when are we going to start our Smallville channel?
I'm not doing a Smallville channel. No.
We'll watch all season 1 in 24 hours and make Robert do all of it.
Yeah. I love how much Brad sucks.
What if he was played by a Superman actor? Would you be defending him?
Of course.
Probably. Dude, if Christopher Reeve was in this movie, that would have been legendary. Is this before or after Superman?
This is before Superman.
This was before, yeah.
Imagine when Superman comes out, they announce, we cast that guy from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Well, with Tim Curry. It's interesting though because he's known and loved for so many things, or by so many people. But he's primarily known for cult stuff like Clue. This
I really
I mean,
Clue.
You know, I mean, it was successful, you know, for a TV miniseries. But I don't know if he was ever, you'd really call him like a big A-list movie star. I don't know if he ever really got there, but he's just in all these weird, fun cult
He's
things.
a character actor.
He's a working character actor, yeah. But he's one of those character actors that people love to see in things, if you know him.
Well, and it's interesting too because like a lot of people think of him as a villain, but I don't think he gets trapped in that villain role until like the 90s.
When, depending on how you look at it, he's kind of the villain of this movie.
Nah, he's the hero.
It's
no, yeah. I mean, you know, obviously Pennywise, that's a big villain he's known for. He voices a lot of villains, like in Jimmy Neutron and other cartoons. But you know, he's also the dad in the Wild Thornberrys. You know,
oh yeah,
it's a good fun role.
I liked that show as a kid.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I was a Rugrats kid, and I was very upset when they crossed over. I was like, I don't want to watch that part. I want to watch the Rugrats. Speaking of Rugrats, did you guys see they're doing like a live action animation hybrid?
Oh yeah. Oh, that sounds terrifying.
That's gonna be nightmare fuel. I loved the
That
Rugrats
like
as a kid. Idea. Can we just let it go?
That's really, why would they do that?
Because Sonic is making a lot of money at the box office.
But that's a hedgehog.
Yeah, but it's the only thing they have to compete.
What is it, like cartoon babies in a live action world?
Yep.
Probably.
I thought we were done with live action cartoon baby movies. We made like 50 of them in the 90s and 2000s. I thought we were done.
Back.
Wait, we did? What movies are you thinking of?
Baby's Day Out, Baby Geniuses.
Those aren't cartoon
there are a ton of
babies.
They're cartoons
They're live
sometimes.
Action. They're live action. The only cartoon baby I can think of is Son of the Mask one.
Son of the Mask. The baby in Twilight.
Have you seen the that's practical one?
Oh, it's worse.
It's worse. It's so much worse. Yeah. I like this song too.
You know, it's all right. You know, I hate those movies, but I have to applaud the balls on them to keep the Jacob storyline in the last movie.
That's when they really went off the rails.
Stephanie Myers was on some drugs when she wrote that.
I wonder, was there any conversation about it? Like, should we cut this
I was going to say,
out,
Noah, do you know about that?
No, I do, yeah. Of course I know about that. And we'll have to tackle those movies at some point.
You and Robert have fun.
Oh, come on.
Twilight counts for this channel.
Yeah, that's why you and Noah are going to do them. I'll be watching something else.
We're gonna what?
It's something I kind of miss in movies is the like the narrator, I guess, but like he's actually on screen.
Mhm.
To bring this
What
back
if it
to a
was
musical
Rod
thing,
Serling?
Robert and I watched Repo last week. Was it last week?
Oh yeah,
Maybe in a couple weeks ago.
So at some point,
it was
and that
recent.
has the grave robber,
Mhm.
which was driving
Mm.
Robert nuts because
It was driving Robert wild.
I didn't say it.
You were gonna. You
Because
didn't
he
commit.
both is like the narrator, but also interacts with people in the movie.
Yeah, like you keep thinking he's gonna have more of a bigger like impact on the story, and then he just bounces for a while, and then he's back. Like,
No,
I don't
no, it was
Imagine
really
if
funny because Robert was asking me like all these things like critically about the movie, and I was like,
yeah.
I don't know.
know.
I just shut up and watch it, Robert.
I liked it. It was all right.
What if
Did you like it on a second viewing?
Yeah, I think so.
what if Rod Serling did that in a Twilight Zone episode? He just started talking to the characters.
That's a show I'd like to cover at some point.
More things that are better than Velma.
I mean, that's just like anything.
Oh my god, it's the guy from Scary Movie 2.
Noah, who is your favorite character in this?
I mean, probably Frankenfurter. This guy is also kind of funny. The Richard
Uh,
O'Brien character.
so to bring it back to my opening about like my first introduction to this movie is through Perks of Being a Wallflower. Emma Watson is playing Susan Sarandon's role in that movie, in the stage play. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. And here we are at the song.
Madness takes its toll. It's good, great.
Like you were saying earlier, Robert, this movie does have such a love for old 50s movies and old like B horror. You can see it all over the place.
Yeah, and like really kitschy horror, like William
Yeah.
Castle stuff.
I'd say even like Hammer horror and like Universal monsters
It's
and stuff. You can
kind
see
of
that. You can see that around this set.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be honest, Noah. You're gonna ask me at the end that this might be my favorite song. Oh,
This song's
Oh,
pretty great.
basic. That's a good song.
we'll see.
Diamonds Are Forever is such a better movie if you just splice in some of these scenes.
Just a jump to the
Nah,
left
Mr. Bond.
through the time warp, Mr. Bond.
But
Well, to
earlier,
be fair to that guy though, that Blofeld sucks, but it's not his fault. Like he's
right,
a fine actor.
it's hard to follow up Donald Pleasance until he's evolves.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I do like this lady, Magenta. I think she's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch this movie more because this is only my second viewing, but it's got a lot of fun, memorable characters in it.
Also, this guy, Richard O'Brien, so much range. You know, he sang the opening song, he's singing this song, and
He
then we have
wrote the
also
song?
heard how his he wrote it, and then we hear like what his normal voice. He does so many different voices in this. Like he's got a ton of
Yeah.
range.
I didn't know
And
until recently that he was the one that sings the opening song too, because he does such a
Mhm.
different voice when he's speaking.
For sure.
I just had this thought because I watched Beetlejuice recently. This is what Tim Burton thinks he's making a lot of the time, where you have these like normal characters from like a normal world come
I
into
could see this
something
being an influence.
insane. And I'm specifically thinking of Beetlejuice with like the married couple and like they're like enter this new like crazy world.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see that. I think Beetlejuice works though more than a lot of other Burton movies.
It's either his best or second best movie that I've seen from him. Sleepy Hollow is way up there,
That's a good one.
and that's just a love letter to Hammer.
Yes. But like,
Although, no, we got to watch Wednesday.
no, we don't.
It's a horror show.
But the plot of this movie is way more insane than any Tim Burton movie I've seen. Like this kind of goes off the rails later.
I do love the way this guy plays Brad, though, where he's so uncomfortable but trying to be polite. He's like, they're foreigners. It's fine. It's just slowly get out of here.
They're very much the generic conservative straight
Mhm.
couple, clashing with the lifestyle of these people. And we were talking about earlier how crazy it is that this movie came out, how like it was released by a studio in the 70s. And
Yeah.
some of the themes of this are pretty like transgressive and like, pushing it for the time.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, no one should be shocked that this doesn't initially do well in theaters because this is not made for a mainstream audience.
This is
This
not
had to have been
mainstream.
so shocking in
Mhm.
1977 for some people.
Tim Curry's character alone
Hmm.
would make
Yeah.
people uncomfortable. And
And
here
they
it
were
is.
probably able to get this made just because it's never that overtly explicit. Like, there's not a ton of like explicit nudity or anything. It's all just
Yeah.
suggestive, but still
Yeah.
for the time.
Yeah, no, I mean the suggestion would be enough to offend people back then. And here's the other most famous song from the movie.
Yeah, I always think of this all as just kind of one big song, just because it doesn't stop.
I forgot that it leads right into Sweet Transvestite.
That I'd be shocked if that's not like the first thing written is Transylvania, Transylvania,
And
transsexual. I can do
sexual.
something with
Yeah, that was
that.
probably the seed that
Everything is built
yeah,
on that.
on that pun.
You could not make this today.
Nope.
Uh, Probably not. I don't think this would be that offensive today.
I don't know. I
Maybe
mean,
some of the terminology would be different.
If you made this
yeah.
today, the first thing you do is get rid of transvestite and transsexual.
Yeah.
Now Noah's audio's cutting in. Hear
Oh
the
crap.
movie a little bit.
It was Tim Curry. He's what did it.
And I mean, obviously, this is all subjective, but when I think of uh, good camp in movies, like this is one of the first things I think of. This is very campy, but it's really well executed. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of over the top or dumb stuff that people say, like either as a positive or a negative, like, well, it's campy, it's supposed to be stupid or whatever. And it's like, no, you can be campy and have good writing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't have both.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, and like,
And this,
I think the other thing people don't consider is good writing doesn't just mean, oh, it's smartly written. It's, no, you know what you are and you're writing to those strengths.
mhm.
This movie's very self-aware. And again, it's kind of going back to that style of acting from older Hollywood and B movies.
But in musical form.
Yeah.
Isn't Stranded looks so uncomfortable?
And they're like, okay. And that just happened. That's what would happen if this movie was made today. There'd be a lot more like, oh, that just happened.
Yes.
Like, we have to tell the audience how crazy this is.
Mhm.
Like, they went to church. Didn't they get married?
No, their friends got married.
Yeah, but they fell in
But-
love at the wedding. I think was the
Okay.
idea.
He caught the bouquet.
If the Harley Quinn character existed in the 70s or 80s, that lady would have been perfect. The shorter one with the shorter hair, like she has a really
Oh,
high
yeah.
pitched voice. And like, so this movie has that balance of being really sleazy and also not very sleazy at the same time. It's like, say they're in their underwear, it's fine. They're not literally naked.
Yeah.
Oh, Brad was in that show Spin City. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh, I never saw it.
I've heard of it, but yeah, I've not seen it.
I remember seeing random episodes. That was the
Michael
sitcom.
J. Fox.
That's Michael J. Fox's last big acting gig.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And he had to leave, and then Charlie Sheen replaced him for 2 seasons.
Okay, that's a weird replacement.
Yeah.
It's not who I'd have picked, but
Oh,
I guess
no,
that's just
Carla
because I'm thinking
Gugino
of
was
Charlie
in that
Sheen
show.
now.
Oh,
Oh.
cool.
I kind of want
And
to watch that. Anyway,
Richard O'Brien, of course, was in Dungeons and Dragons, that classic hit film.
I have not seen.
Uh,
Oh,
oh boy,
yeah.
Jeremy Irons
I've
is.
seen clips from it.
And see, I forgot that they made an older one. I was thinking of the one that came out like last year.
Oh, yeah. That
And
movie's actually pretty good.
Richard O'Brien was also in Dark City, which I still need to see.
The
I've
Crow.
heard
He
it's
was
great.
also in. I don't know if you guys know this, but there is technically a sequel to this movie.
Right? Yeah, I know it
Um,
has its fans. It's very divisive, but I've also heard it's very different.
I've heard mixed but mostly negative things. I am kind of interested in checking it out, though. There was a follow-up to this called Shock Treatment that was released like sometime in the 80s, I think.
And I
That's
think it
kind of
was a
like
TV movie. I don't think
it
it was
might have been.
theatrical, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I know it was like a big. It's kind of like a satire of television at the time. So
Yeah, and I think part of the reason why they made it was by the '80s was when this really had become kind of legendary as a big cult film that was being shown at theaters a lot. So its status had already grown. So I think that's part of
yeah.
why they made that sequel.
Although it seems like a very different movie, which is
Yeah,
interesting
that's
that
what
they
I've
make
heard.
it to cash in on that. They don't even get Tim Curry back.
That's not quoted enough. My unconventional conventionalists.
Yeah, Tim Curry apparently had no desire to reprise the role. Yeah, I
But
know
earlier,
that's just
someone
weird.
someone in the live chat said, you know, this movie's timeless. This is one of those movies to me that works kind of back around to where, to me, like it's obviously dated and it's very 70s in a lot of places, but not in a bad way. It's just like, yeah, that's when this came out, and it has
Mhm.
such a unique style and feel. Like it doesn't look like a modern movie. It doesn't have to. You know, it's one of those
Yeah.
movies for me.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of saying something is timeless because something is always going to look up of its time. The
Mhm.
question is it watchable now?
Well, it's. I think when people call something timeless, they're not really talking about the technical qualities. They're more so talking about the script or the like the sensibilities of it. And I think I can see an argument for this.
This is a bit of a loose adaptation of Frankenstein, but probably not the loosest.
His name is Dr. Frankenfurter, after all, and
Oh
he
God,
he
did you
just
guys
made a
remember they
man.
remade this?
Yeah, we were talking about
Uh,
that as the
yeah,
TV.
there was the like
No.
live.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the shock warp thing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we mentioned
yeah,
both.
that was a
Uh,
sequel. But earlier I mentioned there was the like live TV version with Tim Curry where he just had a cameo in it. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, or
this has yeah Laverne Cox as Frankenfurter.
I think that's it.
Is that the one with the Victoria Justice? I
Yeah.
think she was Susan Sarandon's character.
We're watching that next, folks.
I mean, I'd be curious. It has a
All
cast that
right.
I like.
How do you know it's all right, Brad?
I love how over the top
Shut
this
up,
is.
Brad.
And I just love the way we mix in so much different iconography. Like our creature in this is wrapped up like the mummy for some reason.
But he's like Frankenstein's monster. Um, Actually, when you see Meatloaf later, he kind of looks a little bit more like Frankenstein's monster
Mhm.
than Rocky.
But yeah, I mean, this is just big B movie, over the top mad scientist stuff. It's great.
I love that stuff. I can't get enough of it.
It's alive.
It's alive. And then they take off his bandages and he looks like handsome Squidward. That would be a better movie.
Yeah, he's the title character. He's Rocky.
It's Rocky. Rocker.
That actually reminds me, when I'm like 9 years old, my friend's dad, he's a big fan of the Rocky Balboa movies, and I was gonna come over and watch a bunch of those because I was
Mhm.
starting to get into those for the first time. And he tells my mom like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna watch a Rocky Fest." And she was like, "The fuck?" 'Cause she thought he was talking about this movie. She's like, "Why are you showing
You're
my
gonna show
9-year-old
my
son a
kids
Rocky
that?
Rocky Horror Picture Show?" It's like, no, Rocky
That's funny.
Balboa. It's a different thing.
It's a different kind of
Yeah.
fest.
Yeah, you can learn a lot from someone if you just ask, like, what's the first character named Rocky you think of? This or Rocky Balboa.
I
Two
guess I
very
would think
iconic
of.
Rocky characters. Or
I guess
Rocky and Bullwinkle, but only if you're old.
I definitely think of Balboa first, but then I guess I get to this guy. I always just think of the movie itself and Tim Curry before I think of the actual character Rocky in this.
I would love to know what it was like on set if you're just one of the camera guys or just part of the lighting crew and you're like, what the fuck are we making? But it's a paycheck.
I don't care. I'm getting paid. I think the cast had a fun time. Seems like they're having fun.
Hmm. This might be a hot take, but there might be some gay undertones to this movie.
You think?
I don't see it.
The rainbow colored water? No, I mean that's another important thing to mention with this movie is it probably spoke to a lot of people at the time.
And still does.
And still does, yeah. That's kind of I think goes into why it's timeless. Or at least it's still relevant now.
I mean, I'm sure this movie was controversial, but I feel like if you put it out now, there'd be so many people complaining about it. Like,
Well, that's why
trying
I
to make a
say, like,
controversy out of it.
that's why you can't make this today. You make this a one-to-one remake, and you're just gonna piss off both the conservative, the liberals. You remake the and the conservatives. You remake this and change it to please the conservatives, and you're still gonna be pissing off the liberals.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Uh,
I guess there would be more anger from like different sides if you did a
Robert, I don't know
one-to-one
if you know
remake.
this, but this movie's fucking woke.
Happy
We are
birthday,
woke
Rocky.
YouTubers.
But the sad thing is, if this movie comes out now, this is the movie that it's either straight to streaming or it's out of theaters in like a week and dumped on streaming. Like,
Or it
you
just
don't get
wouldn't get made.
cult movies anymore, or it wouldn't get made. But because there's so many movies from back in the day that don't do well initially, but do build up that audience over time and just gets shown over and over again. Now everything's just dumped on streaming, and then nobody watches it. Like, we don't have cult movies
Yeah.
anymore. We don't have anything that like
Okay, so
grows.
I guess I'm gonna argue a little bit on the merit of jumping in on streaming. Putting something on streaming is not bad. The problem is that we have trained people not to think that streaming movies are bad. I have seen plenty of movies that were dumped straight to streaming that were really good, like The
Oh,
Devil
sure.
All the Time.
The Irish.
And this idea that the only movies that are good are the ones that go to the theater. I'm not saying that's what you said. It's a thing that I've seen a lot. Is absurd. Direct to DVD has existed since the beginning of home video. Theaters have never been the only place to see the movies.
I mean, direct to DVD is also seen as a negative.
That's true.
Okay, but how many direct to DVD movies have you seen that you liked?
Probably a couple.
You liked the Leprechaun 3. That was direct to DVD.
Somewhat ironically, yes.
No, there are plenty of good ones, but I still think there was kind of a narrative of like, oh, those are cheap movies,
Guys,
or they are
it's
lesser.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I think the bigger problem now is it just feels so arbitrary. Or like once we see a movie, something like Prey, comes out and it's so good, and we're like, why wasn't that put in the theater? That could have done really well.
Okay, but then my question is, why does it have to be in the theater?
Because more people would have seen it.
Yeah. You also don't get the impact or like the experience that most people have with this if this goes straight to video, because the whole reason this movie becomes a cult hit is because of the unique experience that people have in the theater watching it in a group.
Well, sure, but name one other movie that's had the same thing of we just kept showing it in theaters over and over and over again until the end of time.
Not to the end of time, but The Room. Similar thing.
Yeah, it eventually made its money
Which
back.
gained new popularity through YouTube.
It gained popularity through showings first, though.
That's why I said
but
new
there are
popularity.
All I'm saying is there are lots of movies though that have not done well opening weekend, but then through word of mouth, people start seeing them and then they start doing really well. Now we've announced streaming dates like before they've even hit theaters.
Yeah, but
absurd.
The other thing that you're not taking into consideration is how much it costs to go to the theater now versus in 1975. Why would I pay $20-$30 to go see a movie, deal with a bunch of obnoxious assholes, when I can watch it at home for
I have plenty of issues with the movie going experience, but I like the theater. And
but like with Prey,
it's dying.
Yeah, good. It's an outdated model.
I disagree. I like the theater.
You're saying this in a commentary for this movie that is built off of the theater experience.
Okay, but again, that was 1975. This is 2024.
Yeah, but anyway, this movie.
We get it, John. You hate the theater.
I don't
Some
hate
of us
the
like
theater.
the theater.
I just hate this, this was good, so it should have been in theaters. Like, who cares? It was a good movie.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's just baffling why some stuff goes to theater and some stuff doesn't. It's just weird.
I mean, I can tell you why Prey didn't go to the theater. Did you see the last one?
Yeah, that's true. Except Prey was a good movie and could have made a lot of money.
I would have seen it.
I don't know. I think you're overestimating how well that would have done in the box office.
I think it could have done fine.
Alien Romulus did pretty good, right?
Perfect example. Yeah, like everyone hated Covenant, and look at how Alien Romulus did.
Yeah, but Covenant didn't bomb.
Oh no,
I think it flopped.
Did it? I for some reason I thought that made money.
It did not do well.
No.
Okay, it doubled its budget, but factoring in marketing, all that stuff, like I don't think it really broke even.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to factor in when it came out. Like Alien Romulus came out this year. Prey was that 21 or 22?
That was 21, I think. That was
So we were still in the pandemic era.
Yeah.
But movies were coming. Some movies were coming out, and
why are we still talking about this when Meatloaf just died?
Because Robert and I are too stubborn, and we're too much alike.
He's the.
All I'm saying is, if you make a good movie, it's got a chance to make money at a theater.
But I don't think being a good movie means inherently you have to go to the theater.
Well, I like seeing good movies in the theater.
Okay, I like seeing good movies at home.
Yeah,
so why can't it come at home? So, but why should I have to wait?
Yeah, because the theater's better.
It's not. I have a 50-inch OLED, 55-inch OLED.
John, you just need to attend more screenings where people throw spoons at the screen.
Yes, that sounds like a riveting way to watch a movie.
It's a group experience.
Yeah, but then at that point, are you there for the movie, or are you there to be annoying with a bunch of other annoying people?
It depends on the movie.
Yeah. This one of the other things people did when in the showings for this movie is they would yell stuff at the
Mhm.
at the movie. Kind of like riff it like Mystery Science Theater a little bit, but there were like lines that people would say depending on what the line in the movie was. So
Mhm.
I think there was like a scene earlier that we talked over where so one of people would call Susan Sarandon a bitch or something like that. There's a few other examples that are coming to me.
I didn't realize our friend Bag had seen this movie.
Oh yeah,
Huh?
yeah, he's seen this.
This movie asks a lot of existential questions.
You mean like it's just a jump to the left?
This does make me interested in watching the other version and seeing how this compared to the stage musical.
Yeah, and if you had the have the Blu-ray, you can do that.
Mhm.
Is that what you have behind you there, Robert?
Yeah, I've got the Blu-ray.
Richard, you watch Bram Stoker's Dracula? We'll get to, we have a kind of a plan for that, I think.
We'll get to it.
We'll see.
Wow. Okay.
What? Listen, this month is packed. Okay.
Saying time or
We only
date. I
have
just
50
said we have
movies
a
to watch.
plan for that. I thought the idea was to do that and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein together at
It
some
was an
point.
idea. Yeah, we'll get
Fuck
to it.
you, Noah.
Okay. So, this is not okay.
maybe Frankenfurter is a bit of a bad guy. Jury's still out.
No, he's just misunderstood. He's
Yeah,
just a sweet, kind
Janet's
kid.
into it.
Yeah, that makes okay. I regret saying that immediately. So, I mean, here you have the challenging of the conservative ideas in this movie. The only weird thing about it, though, is that it's not exactly consensual, but don't overthink it.
Hey, I've seen James Bond movies that are worse than that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just let it happen.
No.
Supposed to be the hero.
Is he though?
I do wonder though, for people who aren't into this movie, like what is the point when you jump out? Like when do people leave the theater? Like, nope, this is weird.
I think it depends
Uh,
on how like easily offended you are.
Maybe the scene we just got to, the previous scene with Susan Sarandon.
And look, they're scaring Rocky with fire, like Frankenstein.
Urgh. And also, this character's got a hunch on his back, kind of like Igor. Although that
Mm.
just makes me think of Young Frankenstein.
You mean Igor?
Igor with the hump moves to the
Um,
different side of his back.
Actually, the Hunchback in the first movie was Fritz. Igor wasn't introduced until the third movie.
Oh, you're right. Fake fan.
Oh, I feel like a jackass.
This is worse than the time I said Tim Drake stole the tires on the Batmobile.
This is the probably my biggest laugh the first time I watched this movie. This double beat is
He
so
does it
good.
with both of them.
It's the same dialogue.
It's funny though, because I got no real indication that Brad was into this stuff before this scene.
That's because he's repressed.
Yeah, but with Janet, you see it a little bit.
No, there's a couple shots of Brad when Frankenfurter's introduced where he's like kind of pulling back his hair a little.
Okay.
He has a couple looks that you could interpret a couple different ways.
I'd have to pay more
Like,
attention
ooh,
next
maybe I'm
time.
into this. But even though like this is in silhouette and not super graphic, I'm still like this is still pretty far for the 70s.
For
Like
the
I am
time,
shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm shocked I got away with that.
Oh yeah. I forgot it kind of pushed it that far. I don't know, because I don't know, like, I know the history of this movie with, like, the cult following and stuff like that. I don't know how controversial it was.
I'm
I
sure it
don't know.
was to some degree.
I feel like it would have had to be, but I haven't heard much of, like, the history of that.
Hmm.
Oh no, the dogs.
This is some X-Men level soap opera drama. It's all a mess. This couple's doomed.
It's as good as the drama in X-Men: The Last Stand.
Oh no. Smoking a cigarette.
Janet, you did
Brett,
it too, you hypocrite.
And the stuff with Rocky's kind of creepy if you think about it too hard because he's like got the brain of a child. It's like
He was just
don't think
born.
about it.
Don't think
Oh
about it.
no, this just turned into poor things.
Oh no.
I still have to see that.
It's okay.
Oh, so it's great.
I feel like watching Emma Stone get plowed. Well, that movie's really horny.
Hornier than this?
Uh, in a different way, because that movie has actual like sex scenes and like a lot of them.
Hey, that's the other thing, is that Rocky was created to be like a sex slave. And his creator
Yeah, it's a twist. It's a twist on Frankenstein.
fucked up twist.
I mean, this movie does have a lot of nudity if you count the statues.
Oh, but that's art.
This is the song I know the most because they do a portion of the Sin Perks of being a wallflower.
Oh, okay.
Is that
High
supposed to be in
schoolers do that?
high school?
Uh, they're in high school, yes, but I think they're just doing like a local stage production, and at least two of them are seniors, so they've got to be like 18.
Okay.
Uh, I know this is really popular for college students. I think I could see a lot of high schools being like, no, you're not.
Well, like I
We're
said,
not
it's
doing
not for their school; it's a local
that.
theater.
Is there a thing you have to sign? Like, make sure you're 18.
Yeah. And I mean, lots of seniors are 17. I mean, I was 17 when I graduated school. It just depends on when you were born in the year.
Oh yeah, true.
Could each of the night.
It's kind of weird seeing Susan Sarandon in something like this, just because I don't think she's ever in anything like this again.
I don't know.
Mm,
I don't know her filmography that well.
I don't know either. Well,
He
with
did a
me, it's
really
weird
bad
because
Wes Craven movie that I had to watch when I was going through his
Oh,
filmography.
oh no.
His romance movie Passion Project.
ugh.
Well, for me, it's
That's
weird because I've basically only seen her in this and then stuff she made when she was older. So that's what I have to compare it to.
Are you sure there wasn't a scene like this in Blue Beetle? I don't remember that movie that well.
It was not.
It's the one scene
Remember
Ted Ford was in.
Yeah, Robert, I don't know if you know about this, but after Scream 2, he makes his passion project. Oh, sorry, no, that's Meryl Streep. I got them mixed up.
Oh,
It's called Music of the Heart. And
Oh
it's
boy.
about a divorced music teacher falling in love with someone.
he's always wanted to make romance movies, I guess.
Like Robert, I was like, Wes, what are we doing?
I mean,
Robert, I mean Wes.
he really didn't want to make Scream. He kind of wanted to leave horror behind, and that didn't want to be the thing he was known for. He got talked into doing it, and then it's like one of the biggest hits of his career.
I watched Son of Frankenstein a couple days ago. Uh, and that has such a great Igor. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah, that's Bela Lugosi. That's the first Igor. He's a total scene stealer.
He's so good.
I still need to watch that.
They
They
tried to
they
hang
hanged
me. But I just was thinking about it because of this Igor stand in here.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm
he's kind of
gonna.
like a real hunchback. It's just like, my neck's broken and my shoulders all fucked up, but I'm still alive. Oh my
I
Oh,
god.
think they just reused that shot twice. That's not what happened, but it looked like it.
That scene would have been better if he'd got a machete in the
it's the
face.
it's the Gremlins. It's the Gremlins scene.
Now I
Oh
want
yeah.
someone to take the wheelchair death in Friday 2 and just edit a bunch of wheelchair scenes after it like this. Like it just keeps going. Frankenfurter.
Who is this man?
He's a teacher. He also works for the government, tracking UFOs. There's a lot of intrigue. It's a lot of high drama. And why is Frankenfurter wearing Martha's pearls?
Why did you say that name? As long as no one puts a gun to his neck and snaps the pearls, that's okay. Also, about the Igor thing earlier, I'm gonna still disagree and say that the best Igor is the Young Frankenstein Igor.
That's Igor.
It's
No,
Igor.
he is
Yeah,
pretty
but whatever. But he's an Igor.
Oh, so all hunchbacks are the same to you? Is that what you're saying?
No,
You freaking
And
racist.
it's Shrek 2 making fun of this scene.
it's kind of a trope that I feel like a few movies do this joke.
I don't know,
Crabs.
I've never seen
SpongeBob.
it. I've never seen it in
Rocky.
anything else that I could think of.
I don't know if I've seen
Really?
anything before this
Really?
movie.
Yeah, because my brain
Mass-
went to the Shrek 2, like, Shrek, Fiona,
Donkey.
Donkey.
Donkey. Yeah, I've seen that trope a
I
lot.
wanna
Like, I don't know
watch-
if I've seen anything before this.
I kind of want to rewatch those. I'm scared to.
Oh, no,
Second one's good.
Yeah, the first two hold up, I think.
I always prefer 2.
Two
Two
is
is great.
better. It's funnier. It's way better.
The general consensus is watch the first two and then skip to Shrek Forever After, but I've never seen
I
it.
saw
so.
Shrek 3 in the theaters, and I really wish I hadn't.
I saw it once when I
saw-
was a kid. I was like, oh, it's not very good.
I saw 3 and 4 in the theaters. 3 is a dumpster
Oh.
fire. People tell me 4 is good, but I remember not liking it all that much.
I
I've
never
only seen it
saw
once,
4
but-
because I cannot get excited by the what would life be like if I wasn't here trope. I don't like
it's
it
a
in
Wonderful
TV,
Life.
let alone blown up into a like 2-hour movie.
Have you seen It's a Wonderful Life?
No,
Yeah,
because
that's the best
because
version
I've
of that.
seen every other thing
Other
that
parody.
does that trope.
Okay, fair
Well,
enough. But that
and
is
the
the
big-
best version of that.
well, and the big reason why It's a Wonderful Life works is like that's only like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, most of it
You
is
know.
just his life up until that
Mhm.
point. Which
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
get an
know
actual
before I
story
watched.
with character development.
Mhm.
But yeah,
So you're
Shrek
saying
3.
it's not like Salem's Lot?
No, it's the opposite, in fact. And I never saw the first Puss in Boots movie. Everyone says it's okay, but that the second one's 10 times better, and I should watch it. I still
still
need to
Yeah,
need
watch
to
I
it.
see
saw the first one. I was like, oh,
2.
this is okay. Because like I really do like him in Shrek 2. And then I didn't even know they made a second one until everybody was like, this is like the greatest thing I've
This is
ever
amazing.
seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone
what?
raves over it. I want
Yeah,
to
so
watch
I
it.
watched
Austin was like, no, this is really great.
Came
And
out of
now I can't
nowhere.
watch it until October's over because I only watch horror movies in October.
Yeah, and that first movie
Yeah.
came out like 10 years ago. It just came
Is
out
this
of
still
nowhere.
Banderas?
Yeah, it's been there.
Yeah, it's still him.
Is it like the best movie he's been in the last 10 years?
Maybe.
I mean, probably.
oh, you
I've heard
mean
that-
it's not
I've
as
heard that
good as
second Spongebob.
Uncharted?
Oh god.
Who's in that?
I mean, I didn't like it, but he's got like the best scene in Indiana Jones 5. I wish he was a bigger character in that.
I forgot
'cause he's
about that
great.
too.
I didn't hate Uncharted. I don't think it's as bad as some people say.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, that's funny that he was in both Uncharted and the newest Indiana Jones movie.
Hmm.
He'll always be the dad from Spy Kids to me.
That's my
He's
introduction. To
Puss
him.
in Boots.
It's great.
This scene is giving Scary Movie 2.
Oh,
The
I
dinner
was-
scene in that.
I was thinking, whenever I see a dinner scene, I just think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre now.
Oh yeah,
Every dinner scene,
But
I'll always
especially-
compare to that.
especially because they're in like a spooky mansion and Tim Curry is there, and the Hunchback character reminds me a lot of the creepy guy in Scary Movie 2.
I just any dinner scene now, I can't help but think of the first Spider-Man movie.
It's a good Thanksgiving movie. It
Tim
counts.
Curry's like, I had
I've
to
seen
fight
both
a
things
bike
killing.
messenger.
Oh
For some
god.
reason. first one's okay for what it is. Thanksgiving 3 is insane and incomprehensible. And there is no
I don't
Thanksgiving 2. Thanksgiving 2 is a movie inside Thanksgiving 3.
in Thanksgiving 3. That's kind of funny.
Oh, we got Adam March here.
Hello.
Hello.
Some anticipation.
Asian.
How I Met Your Mother totally ripped that off, right? For Barney's big joke.
Probably.
I don't know because I've never seen that show. This is a song I always forget about too.
Yeah, I will say, as much as I like this movie, this is when it starts to drag a little, because I think the first act is so great,
For sure.
and then the climax is really good. There's just a point where it starts to slow down a little, but like this is still fine. Again, the art
This whole
direction's
time-
great.
I do think it's really funny that they introduce and then kill off Meatloaf in that musical number earlier. But this whole time, I'm just like, I wish I was seeing his character, and they're just talking about him.
Adam March, I don't love Rocky Horror, but at least it's not in Velma.
That you could
Yeah,
say
I
about
know.
anything.
I told them I'm here for something good.
Also, we talked over it. I find it really funny that Brad is most defensive and like angry at Frankenfurter when when his old teacher's in danger, but he's like totally not phased by whatever's happening to Janet. What are you implying? Although I will say the payoff to this dinner scene is really fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm
This
kind of with
ends
you.
on a
I'm
really
liking
big
this. I don't know if I love this. Oh my
Well-
god.
Yeah. Oh no. That's another one of my like big laughs when I first watched this. He's dead. He's in the table.
Rocker.
But I think for me, it's just most of my favorite songs are in the first act.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a lot of the songs you recognize too if you haven't seen the movie. Because I had
Mhm.
that when I first watched it. I was like, oh, it's this song. It's this song.
Well, the using 70s pick for Rocky Horror seems like a missed opportunity. Hey, talk to Noah on that one.
No, this is a good movie. This is a good commentary movie.
And we'll do this again next year, maybe slightly tweaked.
Yeah, I mean, there are no shortage of 70s movies to cover.
My OCD is really bothered by the fact that we went from 50s to 70s to 80s to 90s.
Yeah, and the problem with the 60s is like the obvious go-tos are Psycho and Night of the Living Dead, and can't think of much beyond that.
Well, there's like Carnival of Souls and
Yeah, like there's plenty. You just got to think about it, you know,
Mhm.
and dig kind of deep.
And
But then you
we're
when you
gonna
get
be
to the
doing Night of the
70s, there's
Living
like
Dead
50 classics.
soonish.
Mm.
What would you have picked, Adam March?
Yeah,
you know what might be
Marsh, you're so
fun?
smart. What have you picked?
What we did here, except we picked 2 decades: a decade for a review film and a decade for a commentary film. That way, we could cover more decades.
Okay, I'd be cool with that.
Like I could pick a 60s movie for review and an 80s movie for time.
And you've already
March
reviewed
House
Psycho,
is the
right?
greatest commentary movie ever, and you passed up on it. Yeah, Noah.
Yeah.
So let me see it. You've already reviewed Psycho on the channel.
Yes, but we have not done a commentary.
Okay.
I think that's a movie I wouldn't mind doing. At some point, I'd like to go back and do some of our old reviews maybe again. There's ones that I'm not super happy with. All the ones where no one I couldn't think of anything to say after like 20 minutes.
Well, whenever we start our He Made Me Watch series,
Right.
Psycho 2 is one of those movies that I'd pick for that. To
Adam
finally
Mark's
cover.
Rosemary's Baby.
That's a big one.
I'm gonna watch that this month. I haven't seen it since I was a teenager, and that'd be a review film.
Yeah, I still gotta see that.
But I watched that when I was like 14, and I was very much in my slasher phase.
So this is really funny that when these people are turned into statues, they're suddenly naked for some reason. But then there's that added "oh god" element, like every statue you've seen like was a real person.
Yeah,
They have so much fun with just weird mad scientist gimmicks and just insane stuff like anything goes.
they're really building the lore of Frankenfurter here.
Yeah, the most explicit nudity is the statues.
Adam Mark says House is amazing. I'm very thankful for DJ and company to show me House further in that country. House is awesome. Have you seen that, Robert?
I have not. I've heard you guys talk about it, but I have not seen it yet.
Okay. That is must be a blind commentary. You are not allowed to watch that until we do that.
Is that something you'd want to do for the channel or just hang out and watch?
Either. I don't care. I need to be there when you see it.
Yeah. You're not allowed to watch that
preferably on the channel because I want to see you react to that movie.
Well, did you guys watch it for the channel or was that just a hangout stream?
Okay. No, DJ did a commentary on his channel way back in the day. And that's how a lot of us watched it.
When Austin was there and he watched it for the first time that way too.
Yeah, there's a couple movies I want you guys to blind watch for the channel, like Sleepwalkers, Society. Oh god.
Shit. Okay, so I should remove that from my October list.
Oh,
which one? That on Society. I put that on one of my 3 lists that
I mean, it doesn't. If you don't want to do it for the channel, that's fine. Though, let me know when you're gonna watch it, and I'll try to be there because I'd love to.
Okay, I can schedule that around like when we can watch a movie together. Yeah, Adam Mark agrees. It must be a blind commentary. That movie is insane.
Yeah, I don't know much about House. I've just heard you guys talk about it.
First time somebody brought that up, I was like, "You mean the show?" I don't know if we were talking about it, Robert, but I adore that show.
Mm-hmm. You mean the other horror movie called House?
Yeah, and there's an early 2000s one called House, which is based on a Fred Decker book.
I didn't even know that. I was thinking of the one we reviewed for Shutter Shuffle.
Oh God, yeah, there's a third one.
Yeah,
it's gotta happen. No, there's a Christian horror writer that I used to read a lot in high school, and he has a book called House that was turned into a movie.
Huh.
Let's just list all of the things named House that we can think of.
Robert, when are we going to start a House channel?
Yeah, and we can call it House.
Our house.
No, we would call it our
That's
house.
That's inside another house.
In the middle of our house.
That's such a great song.
I'm very out of the loop with like internet memes, so Austin will send me something that's like 10 years old, and I'll think it's great, and I want it to send it to everyone, and everybody else has seen it.
I mean, it's fine. You don't need to be in the loop. That's not the most important thing to be in the loop with.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, this movie's kind of hit a wall for me.
Oh,
like it's not bad. It's just
it's still going.
It's still going.
But Tim Curry's so good. This is when it picks back up for me.
Yeah, we're about to get to the.
I like this song.
Oh God, make her stop.
John doesn't like this singing. No, this is the woman that could play Harley Quinn.
Hmm.
I could hear it. She's annoying.
He is annoying, so yeah, it's good
I'll,
casting.
I'll take it over the Harley voice we got in Batman and Harley
I mean, anything's better than that.
Quinn.
You'll notice she hasn't been back.
Nope.
It's funny that the other cast member from The Big Bang Theory is a better Harley than she is.
I
Yeah.
mean, from what little I've seen of The Big Bang Theory, she was also the best character on that show.
Oh, really? Not Sheldon?
No, he was the worst one.
Well, I wouldn't
She's
have ever thought to cast her as Harley Quinn, but she's pretty good in that
Do you
show.
see that they're getting a third spinoff?
Oh no, they're
For
doing another one.
the Harley show?
No, Big Bang Theory.
Oh,
Oh,
that doesn't surprise me. Isn't Young Sheldon ending?
Yeah, Young
So
Sheldon
it makes
ended.
is ending, so we're getting a spinoff about his older brother.
that makes sense.
oh, so it's a
There,
spin-off of a
a
spin-off.
lot of people watched it, so they're gonna keep milking that for as long as they can. I mean, we've got we've got 3 more Dexter shows on the way. Like,
Robert, I so do you think that's enough of a horror show that we can do it on here?
I mean, we
Why not?
could. Yeah, I think Dexter qualifies. It's just fun. Like,
I've never seen that show, so I actually don't know how
I've been really
horror
wanting
it
to
is.
rewatch it.
but we were talking over it earlier. Brad and Janet are also like kind of a stand-in, sort of, for uh, Adam and Eve. You know, they start out very pure, and then Frankenfurter's like the devil and tempts them, and
Yeah.
now they have seen knowledge. Now they have tasted forbidden fruit, as the narrator said.
RKO picture.
Okay,
We're
and
about to
coming
watch,
up,
we're about to watch Citizen Kane.
yeah.
God,
Oh,
an
well,
RKO out of nowhere.
I always think of King Kong, and this references King Kong pretty explicitly.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
I'm a wrestling fan. I think of wrestling.
Whatever happened to Fay Ray? I do think this is one of the better songs.
Yeah, this is the part where the movie picks up.
Well, and John and I
After
were
that
saying with Repo, the Genetic Opera, I think it's pretty good. I think it's fun. I think the songs are good. I just don't love the songs, so it's hard to love a musical if you don't love the songs, if you don't get into them.
Oh, yeah.
Weirdly enough, my favorite might be, and it's the shortest song in the movie, is the epilogue at the end. That's been kind of stuck in my head. I'm like, that does end really strong. Like, that's a good bit.
Oh,
The
yeah.
problem is the other song I remember the most is the 17 one, just because it's annoying. And probably my least favorite in the movie, but it's been stuck in my head. And that one goes on forever. But I did like that movie. There's good stuff in it. And
Yeah,
was clearly inspired by this.
Uh-huh. And I have the opposite
Not
where I
as
like
good as this.
95% of that soundtrack. I
That's
would
fine.
get
Yeah, it's
Legal
just
Assassin
amazing.
stuck in my head.
That movie has some pretty good songs. I tend to prefer the songs in this.
Also,
See,
like, for this budget, some of these visuals are really fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this set a lot. With the pool and the RKO.
I'm not digging this song.
Like,
John hates this movie.
it's a little slower.
I hate this movie. I think it hits like a brick wall at a certain point and it has not yet recovered.
He's still frozen.
I was frozen today.
But Harry, but what freed him? Plot hole.
No, the switch fell down. Gravity freedom.
Gravity. You mean Mavity?
Who was filming this scene?
This must have been one of the scenes where the people filming this. What the fuck?
Just picturing a middle class Joe just standing on a ladder, like holding a light or holding a boom mic, just watching this. Yeah, like so I think this is when it picks back up. This song's fun.
Yeah, it's all right. It's better in this part where like the music and the tempo pick up. I'm not a big slow song kind of guy. But quick plug, our Rodan review dropped today.
Oh, it did. It was a
Yeah,
good review.
Robert's like, "Are you gonna post it?"
His hunchback is gone.
Oh my god, she has Marge Simpson hair.
She's got the bride hair. Also, they're aliens.
Yeah, I love how that's how it comes across in the movie. Just also they're aliens.
And they're aliens.
This is what the movie's. I love his pitchfork gun.
Yeah.
It pays off the pitchfork we saw him with in the opening.
Very B sci-fi.
Yeah, they're betraying him.
Everybody betway me.
I'm fed up with his world. Yeah, I don't know if I'd cut a song, but I do really like this one. It's just that part where we have like 3 or 4 in a row.
Yeah. No, I just see what you guys are saying. It does. It gets a little clunky at the end.
But Tim Curry's performance here is really fantastic.
He's so good in this movie.
Yeah, out of context, it's like, oh, this is really emotional. This poor guy who has done questionable things.
Yeah, many questionable things.
That's one word for it.
I don't know if Tim Curry's done a lot of musicals. I kind of wish he did more. There might be
I
some I
think
just haven't seen.
he's more of a stage guy, right?
Yeah, he did a lot of theater.
And he's got a great voice, but yeah, I can't think of any other movie musicals I've seen him do. He's probably done some more musicals on the stage,
He sings in Fern Gully.
which I've
That's
never
true.
seen.
That he probably gets the best song in that movie. I don't like that
remember
movie.
it. I looked it up. I loved that movie as a kid. I haven't went back.
I was the wrong age. That is the worst movie to watch when you're like 13 years old because I
Oh,
watched it
yeah.
in class and I was like, oh god, I hate
You're like, this
this.
sucks.
My opinion has not changed much. It's very ham-fisted in your face. But Tim Curry's song is probably the best song in the movie.
But riddle me this: what's better, Fern Gully or Avatar?
I mean, I'm going Avatar. That's pretty easy for me.
Isn't it the same?
Fern
They're
Gully is a
both
lot more obnoxious.
they're both environmental movies.
Yeah, this kind of feels like they didn't know how to end this.
That's kind of also what I like about it too. It's like, oh yeah, we gotta go back to our home planet.
And Tim Curry had the great role as Long John Silver in Muppet Treasure Island. I also haven't seen that.
Yes.
I
Oh, you haven't
dude,
seen that?
I remember liking it, but I also haven't seen it since I was like 6. I need to revisit that movie because I don't
I
know
was
what that
not a Muppets. I was not a big Muppets kid as a growing up.
Oh, wow.
I didn't
You
see a
know,
lot of Muppets, but I loved
I,
Muppet Christmas Carol.
I
I
love the
was
Muppets.
I was a Sesame Street kid, and then I kind of moved into at the time big kid cartoons. You know, Dragon Ball, Digimon.
Okay. Yeah, so you didn't have that gap to bridge it with the Muppets.
Although I did have a Grover like kids book that I was obsessed with for a while.
Okay.
Adam Arch, I love it. Maybe my favorite Muppet movie. I wouldn't mind
That's
seeing
one of my
it. I'm
favorites.
just scared I won't like it now because I don't have a connection with it and I'm an adult.
I'm curious, what's the better Treasure Island adaptation, that or Treasure Planet? Those are both movies I haven't
Muppet
seen in
Treasure
ages.
Island.
I do like Treasure Planet a lot.
I remember liking it, but I haven't seen it in like 20 years. That's so I also
it. I think my buddy got it on Blu-ray through that Disney Movie Club back when I first started.
Oh, okay.
That's the last time I saw it.
Frankenfurter, this doesn't seem like your best escape option.
This betrayal also feels like it comes out of nowhere on a first viewing, but it's kind of set up earlier.
Yeah, it's kind of set up. There's a couple scenes that hint at it. I mean, he's called Riff Raff. We should have known.
They didn't like me.
Ah, poor Rocky.
Adam Arch, Muppet Treasure Island is better. Treasure Planet is fine, especially for the era, but I think it's a bit overhyped. Is that
Well,
on
Treasure
Disney
Planet.
Plus?
It should be if it's not.
It should be, yeah.
It's also in that just weird Disney era where that's also right after Atlantis, which didn't do well, which I think is a shame because I love Atlantis. I think Atlantis holds up. I think that one's pretty underrated.
Those are the two Disney movies that people point to, like, oh, these are the underrated ones. But here we are at the King Kong reference.
Yeah. It's very tragic.
That's not even a reference. That's just King Kong.
'Twas beauty that killed the beast.
It is referencing it, yes. It was beauty that killed the Rocky.
They never liked me. They made me a hunchback.
Adam Arch is on my Disney Plus. Yeah, I just checked. I kind of forgot to even look. Like, I would like to watch that movie again. Oh, I love Atlantis. I even had like the video game back in the day, or I rented the video game. I don't remember which. Wasn't very
Yeah,
good
I
at
just
it, but I even had the directed video sequel that was just like a bunch of short films,
yeah.
vignettes.
I think it was like kind of a pilot for the show. I don't remember if the show got picked up. I
I
didn't
don't think
really
it did
watch
because
it.
they sold that as a movie. You don't normally do that if your show gets picked up.
Yeah, I know that happened with Beauty and the Beast in the '90s, where for some reason they were like, "Let's make a Beauty and the Beast show," and they did. And after like 3 episodes, they're like, "Yeah, we're canning this. We're not doing this show." So they just put them together and sold it as like their third movie after their Christmas
I
one.
forgot they got a third.
Yeah,
Cinderella
because
got a third one too.
that's true.
Adam March's my
That-
underrated movie of the post Renaissance is Brother Bear.
I,
I haven't
I
seen
don't
that
think I
movie in
ever
like
saw
Brother
Brother Bear.
20
Bear.
years.
And then after those, was Home on the Range Disney?
Yes.
Because I think that was one where people were like, "Oh God, I think Disney's dead."
That is a movie I liked a lot as a kid, but that's one of those movies I haven't gone back to, but I'm afraid to. Like John has a few of those.
Hey, we're bringing it back.
You know, mention Tim Curry in Beauty and the Beast Enchanted Christmas. I don't even know what
That's
that
true.
is.
Yeah, that's their second one where it's just like set in the middle of the first movie during the winter section. It's like, hey, what was Christmas like for them? And Tim Curry's great. He voices Evil Organ. So he's like
Oh,
the bad guy in it. I think he has a song. I haven't seen it in ages.
Mhm.
But so that would have been also one of the first things I ever heard Tim Curry's voice in.
okay. The
I
only thing I
forgot
know
the Whole
about the
House
Beauty and
was
the
a
Beast
rocket
movies, because
ship.
if I've seen even the first one, I don't remember, is there used to be a meme video where it's just like the organ or something, and people would keep saying things, then they'd splice in, "I'm bolted to the wall," and I thought that was hysterical.
But I love this epilogue. I love how like weird and ominous it is. So these people have been left behind, and the aliens just ditch them. Like I want to know what what the next morning looks like for these people after this experience they just went.
That's why I'm kind of
That's what more
interested in
sequels should
checking
be.
out.
It's just like what happens right after.
Yeah, and the sequel they do not. It's completely different
Yeah,
characters.
okay. It's
I think
not
some
even Brad and Janet.
no, and I think well, I have to look at it again. I've never seen it. But I think some of the actors, like Richard Bryan's in it, but it's like debatable if he's even the same character.
I
But
don't
yeah,
think it's the same character from what I've seen. But
Well, that was the
could be
Rocky
wrong.
Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
I I miss this trope. The end credits where it's just people's faces with the names.
The
Predator
Predator,
and Suspense.
Predator has like the best
Beetlejuice
one.
does that. Beetlejuice 2 does that.
Oh, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, you're not gonna like it, but
Oh, you
no,
don't
I'm
think
interested
so?
to see what you think. I don't know. Sometimes
I've
it's
heard
hard
very
to tell
mixed
with you
things.
and Tim Burton. Because it's crazy. I'd say it's crazier than the first one.
I like the first one quite a bit.
Yeah, I
I've seen the
forgot how
Exorcist
little Meatloaf.
167 times, and it keeps getting funnier.
Every
Mhm.
single time. Yeah, this is a good reprise of the first song.
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
Hulu's like, would you like to watch Edward Scissorhands next?
Oh, speaking of Tim Burton,
And I do want to rewatch that movie, just not right now. All
that's a
right.
Christmas movie.
So Noah, do you want to know our favorite songs?
Yeah.
Robert?
Probably the opening, but I mean, there's a lot of good ones. But like I said, most of my favorites are in the first act.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
gonna be basic and go with the Time Warp.
it's pretty
Boo.
great.
No, that's a good song.
So, what's your favorite Noah?
I really like the opening song as well, and I like this reprise, but I have to say I really like the Meatloaf song. I think maybe
That's
that's my
fine.
favorite.
I forgot how little he's actually in this.
Yeah,
How
he's just
quickly.
there for a song. um, and I mean, yeah, I mean, Time Warp is still a great song.
Time Warp is pretty awesome.
So
Adam March says Sweet Transvestite is the only choice. And Austin says, I love that Meatloaf
yeah,
shows up and just dies.
Yeah, and like I said, one of my favorite gags is after the dinner scene when they pull off the cloth and you see that his body's been there the whole time.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
so good.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Um,
My brain almost just broke for a second because I was reading some of the credits and it said action car or action vehicles by 99 Cars. My brain read that as 9 Inch Nails, and I was like, the fuck?
for a brief second, I thought you said Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
we're all
It's like, what?
We're all loopy.
we're all loopy.
You guys are gonna be able to do another stream?
Oh God,
It'll be
yeah,
fun.
that's true.
Robert, wake up. All right,
Never.
so that was our second Decades of Horror commentary. The first one was Creature of the Black Lagoon. I will be making a playlist for all of the videos and commentaries we are doing for this Decades of Horror project. Robert, Noah, it's been a great time. Next week, our next commentary is mine, which is The Burning from the 80s, which is a nice little quaint slasher flick from the back in the day. I've seen it once, but I don't remember anything about it other than it's got young Jason Alexander in it.
Oh,
Have you guys seen that?
He's great. Yeah, I've seen The Burning. I watched it
Okay.
last year.
I've not seen it. No.
No, it's like,
It's
I
a
don't watch those
very
filthy
it
slashers.
it's a very Harvey Weinstein movie.
Oh,
Oh, okay. That's what I have to look forward
Yeah,
to.
yeah, he wrote the scripts.
boy. Anyway, we will be back. The Ghost of Meatloaf. God damn it, Austin. Uh, Robert, how long do you need between streams?
Probably like 10 minutes.
We'll be back in about 10, maybe 15, depending, just because Robert and I sometimes don't always sync up, to do some of the new Until Dawn PC port.
Ooh,
Adam Arch says Holly Hunter is also in the burning. Oh, I will have to
that's
keep
true.
an eye on
Very briefly. Yeah, she's like way in the background.
that. But yeah, stick around and we'll hang out some more. Just talk some